This episode is brought to you by Whitaker Garage Doors, your one-stop shop for all things garage doors, proudly based in Peekskill, New York. Your home is a direct reflection of your personal style, and let's face it, your garage doors are the first thing people see when they pull up your driveway. Whether you're looking for the timeless charm of a classic carriage house door or the clean, sleek look of a basic wood finish, Whitaker Garage Doors offers traditional options for every taste and budget. I can personally vouch for their incredible service. When I had my own garage doors done, I was blown away by their timeliness, professionalism, and overall respect for their clients. Jonathan, Cassara, and their entire team are top-notch, and they really go the extra mile to ensure you're happy with the final result. So if you're in the market for a new garage door or need some repairs, give them a call or find them on Instagram at Whitaker_doors. Don't forget to tell them you're a friend of Dave's over at the No Snooze podcast. Whitaker Doors. You won't regret it. Now, back to the epi. If you're looking to work out and support a great cause, Fit for Duty is for you. Join us on May 17th at the Sale House in Tarrytown at 9 a.m. for a fun morning of fitness, food, and music. Come out and join Mike Coonahan, Mike Trotter, and the Reps for Responders team for a unique experience featuring a cold plunge, a police academy-style workout, brunch, and great music. Reps for Responders focuses on improving the physical and emotional survivability skills of first responders, helping them make responsible decisions both on the job and in their personal lives. Their services support the mental health and well-being of police officers, firefighters, EMS, EMTs, correction officers, military personnel, and nurses, active and volunteer, with the ultimate goal of reducing suicide rates within the first responder community. There are ticket options to work out and brunch or just to spectate and come eat with the crew. You can grab yours at fitforduty.repsforresponders.org. If you're interested in showcasing your business, sponsorship opportunities are still available. For more information, you can find them on Instagram at Reps for Responders. This is an event you don't want to miss, so get your tickets today, and we'll see you out there on May 17th. Adversity? Bring it. The struggle? I welcome it. Snooze on life? Never that. I am Dave Regina, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on. Welcome back, No Snooze Podcast, episode 218. As always, I'm in the booth with the Fire Three. We have Sean, the Animal, Degnan, Claudio, the Voice, Valenzuela, and I am Dave, the Body, Regina. For those of you guys who don't know Sean Degnan, we are welcoming Sean back to the podcast. He is a serial entrepreneur. He is the managing partner of the Sale House in Tarrytown. Phenomenal restaurant if you have not checked it out. He is one of the co-founders, alongside myself, of Action Cultivates Excellence, which is a leadership organization focused on personal and professional development. He's become a best friend of mine beyond business. I'm extremely excited to have him here. He's a leader of his life in everything that he does. And he's a recent fiance. We launched that on episode 200. We told everybody about that. Yep. So shout out to JG as well. But Sean, welcome to the podcast, brother.
The big Pastor Regina. How we doing, dog?
Let's go.
Let's get it.
You know what's funny is on episode 200, we congratulated you for now, taking that next step with Jackie. But at that time, we did not know, well, I did not know, that I would become the minister of this wonderful marriage.
Yes, sir.
And to those who may not know, I've actually been an ordained minister since 2021. Did you know that?
No,
prior?
I had no idea. I just knew that you had gotten asked, I think, by somebody. Was it your sister or
recently?
Yeah.
Yes, my sister asked me. Yep.
It was like right before, and I was like, I'm like, Dave would be the perfect person to do this because we're getting married in the Catholic Church, but we're thinking about down in Florida who's going to actually run the show. And there was 2 people that we were competing, and it was the body, and it was the big World Series, Joe Girardi, and you beat out my man.
Let's go, baby.
So it was it was an awesome experience when we actually had you open that fortune cookie.
Tell the story.
Yeah,
Tell the story.
Yes, we were at Gramercy Tavern, and Dave thought he was getting proposed to.
So embarrassed.
Shouts to Katie. We were dying laughing, but Jackie had this creative idea. She's mad creative of basically getting these fortune cookies, and they were all numbered. So there was 4 fortune cookies because there was 4 of us at dinner. Mm-hmm. We gave them to my buddy Will, who's the general manager at Gramercy Tavern in Manhattan, and he had placed them on each person's appetizer plate in the beginning of the meal to basically this is a tradition we do here at Gramercy Tavern. You guys have never been, so you have no clue. So we opened the thing up, and my biggest concern was Dave is a mother effer. He's gonna ask someone to switch. We're gonna have a problem with this. I was like, we got to make sure he opens that one. So he was like, yeah, open these, whatever. So we opened it up, and it was so damn funny. Your reaction, man, unbelievable. You were very shocked at first, I think, but just pure joy, pure excitement, and I think it set the tone for the rest of that meal because we had an awesome evening.
Oh my God! So yeah, shout out to Gramercy Tavern. The food was incredible, but that experience, I'll never forget it because I thought it was a little odd that we were in an American style restaurant, right? And then this fortune cookie comes out, and then the excuse that Will gave us, I'm like, what is this, right? And he was basically like, oh, this is a tradition that we do for the restaurant, and it's the holiday season. I'm like, okay. so then I open it, and something came over me because I think I saw the phone come out. And when I saw the phone come out, I scrolled to the end of the fortune cookie, and it said something about marry. And I'm like, oh my God, is my girlfriend proposing to me? How embarrassing.
The leadership expert is getting led down.
And then I went back to the beginning, and I actually read it out loud, and I felt this just a wave of emotions and gratitude. Because it said that you guys were obviously getting married and you wanted me to conduct the ceremony. So we could send actually CV the video. You could throw that in. It's a very funny reaction. But
your reaction was literally, oh my God, yes.
yes. It sounded just like
that. Yes,
I
will.
Wait. So he doesn't really eat it, but he loves getting his fortune, and I'll eat. So he'll get the cookies, and then I eat the cookies.
We'll read them out loud and see.
Mine says, wait, what? What? Dave, life's greatest fortune is love. Will you take action on 11/8/25 and marry us? Holy shit! Oh my God, yes! Yes, I will.
I hope I'm not good.
But no, man, what a blessing. And just to, just to your relationship in general, I really value what you guys have. It's a wonderful love. I'm sure it isn't always perfect, but you guys do a wonderful job of loving one another, and also just a major inspiration to a lot of the couples out there. So
yeah,
I'm blessed,
thank you, man.
Blessed to be there.
Yeah, no, likewise. We take a lot from you and Katie as well, and it's a labor of love. It ain't easy, I'm working all day long, and Jackie's got a lot of stuff going on, and it's a constant battle, and stuff we'll talk about with Ace and everything. It's we have to work on things constantly. You can't forget about it,
Yes,
so we're trying our best. It's going well.
So staying on the same topic, and this will be funny for you guys because you guys will be able to visualize it. I was just at Philippe on Monday. Great restaurant. I'm sure everybody's familiar, but if you're not, it's a Chinese food, right? But Americanized Chinese food. Philippe Chow, great chef. A lot of celebrities. So kind of sitting, waiting on the side for the rest of our party to come in. I'm with Katie, I'm with her brother Louie, and we're waiting for her mom to come in. And out of the Escalade comes Kendrick Perkins.
Wow.
Right?
Big perk.
Yeah. So I, very Dave fashion, I don't say anything to Katie or Lou. And I look at Perk when he walks in, and I said, "What up, baby?" And he looks at me, and he's like, do I know this dude? Like, I could see him processing. I'm like, what's good? What's good? So I dap him up. He's like, yo, how are you? Like, everything. He's like, yo, God bless, my brother, God bless. But I could see him processing, like, yo, do I know this guy? But maybe he's an athlete of some sort. Like, I'm sure.
Oh, my God.
So after, he walks by, he's the biggest dude in the room, obviously. He's like ducking to get in. He's like 6'8" and huge. Katie and Louie go like, you know him? Like, who is that? I'm like, no, I never met him. I'm just a big fan. Like, it was. They were like, wait, you don't know him?
Oh my God!
But it was very, very Dave-esque. We go through the whole dinner, right? And he's like across from us, kind of. He finishes the meal before us, comes over to me to say peace out. So Perk, I just want to tell you, you probably never met me before. You didn't know who I was, but thank you for the kind gesture.
That's one of those.
To come
Yo,
over.
what's good, my brother?
Yeah.
What's good,
It
dog?
was just so funny because like my confidence is what like made him, I think, believe that like he knew who I was.
Yep.
But it was just so funny. And then the whole table was just laughing about it. And they were like, yo, only you, bro. Only you.
On the spot, always. Oh my
Figured you get a
God.
kick out of that.
That's great.
You brought something with you, man.
Yeah.
This product called Numa. I want, go ahead, CV, is it? Focus on me. There we go. Numa. Sean Degnan, tell us about it, and I'll crack one open here.
Let's crack it. So Numa, shouts to Numa, they sent me a sampler package. I got like 15 bottles of different products they got. We're going to give this thing a go. I had the energy drink yesterday. It was freaking delicious. They make like wellness sodas as well. So let's give this a try. I got the blueberry peach. What do you got?
Oh, wow. I got lemonade. Zero drunk, better hydration. So it's a tint. I got like a tint of lemon, which I like. I can actually sip on this. And I'm just curious. This is the very first time I'm even looking at it. I wanted to do it, live. 505 milligrams of electrolytes, zero added sugar, only 30 calories.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, what's inside, they say. So it's, let's see if I can pronounce this word. Low osmolality. Am I saying that right?
Never heard of
For
that.
rapid hydration. Is that like osmosis? 505 milligrams of essential electrolytes, smart formula to fight cramps and fatigue, simple functional ingredients. And then they tell you what's left out. No sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, no gut-wrenching ingredients, fake unnecessary fillers. Yeah, I mean, this is a solid product. They got 3 different lines. They actually do have electrolyte packets as well, but this product itself is a hydration product. So shouts to Numa. Appreciate you guys sending this stuff along, and maybe we get a little Ace partnership come soon.
Check them out. Sean Degnan, you are the poster boy for doing hard things, my brother. Hard things come, I don't know, like it's not fair to say that they come easy to you because they clearly just can't. But just recently, I mean, between the end of the year till now, you competed in the High Rocks for the very first time, and you also ran two half marathons. Just to put into context, I'm a very fit guy, and I had said that I was going to do my own version of a half marathon. So I like jogged, walked. Took me 3 hours, did it outside. By the end of it, my feet were extremely bloody from the majority of like walking. How do you prepare for these things? And one, congratulations on getting them all done, but maybe take us through the first High Rocks journey to then doing the half, and then 2 weeks later doing the half.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say the first thing is like shout out to my trainer Tommy Pomatico, T-Poms. Like he has gotten
Tommy Tank Tops,
bro. Like he's gotten me so prepared for all this stuff. I keep throwing random shit at him, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and the next thing I'm working on, which we'll talk about after, is the 50-mile race that a couple of the Ace guys are doing. But for me, like challenge is challenge, right? Like I get bored. And I know you have a similar mindset of like just being a former athlete your whole life. Things change. You go through seasons as we're growing up of sports. You do different sports. You do different stuff. But that chapter has ended for us a while ago now, over a decade ago. And we have to do stuff to stay fit. And just the way my brain works is like I can do certain things for a couple years, whether it be like a bodybuilding phase or going through different lifting HIIT workouts and like CrossFit style training and things like that. but eventually I'm going to pop and I need to actually compete again. You know, like I can't just do something on a regular basis and not work towards a new goal. And that's the same way I am in business, I think, too. It's the same way I am in like my personal life. Like Jackie and I, we always try to like go on a better vacation. You know, we try to go do better things, go to a better restaurant, have better experiences together. I just don't, I don't settle, I guess, you know, and that's just the way my brain works. So the High Rocks experience it was a bitch, man. I mean, it was like super, super humbling. So I did the High Rocks Pro, and basically what that means is the weights are like the highest weights that anyone like in the High Rocks division has. There's an open, there's doubles, there's co-ed workouts, all that stuff. And then there's the pro division. And the pro division has like 460-pound sled pushes and pulls. It's got wall balls. It's got 70-pound kettlebell carries, like all these different things. And paired with that is 5 miles accumulated of running, which actually was like 6 miles clocked on my thing just because you're going in between stations and all that. It was so freaking hard, man. Like I can't even explain the level of respect that I have for people that perform at the highest level at this. I went against these guys and, you know, I'm comparing myself to these paid athletes that do this on the reg, you know, and in my eyes, I failed in comparison to them. On the grand scheme, I placed top 10% in the event. Wow. So like, I think I did well, but you know, just the way my brain works again is like, I don't want to do well. I want to win. I want to compete, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, super humbling. And I see myself getting back out there again. And just those half marathons were just another thing that I was like, you know what? I've never been a runner. I don't like running. I'm very fast at sprinting. I've never been a distance guy. And that's something outside of my comfort zone. So,
no, it was incredible to watch, man. And, you know, the finish is one thing, but I mean, just really even getting through it, dude, like my body, and I don't, listen, I get it. Like I can relate to the Goggins mindset, right? But my body, something is off when I go running. And everyone's been talking to me about the shoes because again, I'm 240 pounds. So like I'm moving and I can move pretty well for, you know, what I believe.
Yeah.
But when I get into like distance, dude, like I feel a lot of pain. So I constantly have the battle with myself. Okay, keep pushing. But I've been on like 7-8 mile walks, even with my girl. And I'm like, babe, I might have to roll down this hill right now because like my knee is really like, I can't, and I'm fighting the mental piece and I'm willing to keep going, but I feel like my body's breaking. Do you think that's something that will go away if I just get new shoes? Like,
I don't know if it'll go away. Cause like, even like, I'm not as big as you, but I'm 220 pounds. Like, you know, I'm up there too in comparison to what these marathon guys look like. And even the High Rocks people, like they're like all like 170, 80 pounds. I definitely battle with it still. Like I have terrible knees from wrestling and football and all that stuff. And I'm sure basketball played a huge role in your knee development, you know? I think it gets better, but I don't know if it really goes away.
Do you bleed? Does your feet?
I don't bleed, but I get some severe pains like once I hit like 10 miles in.
And what about hip?
I've got a really bad groin thing I'm working through right now. Hip flexor, actually. Jackie's on my ass to talk to Nick about it to get working on it. But yeah, I've got a lot of like pain points and stuff.
Yeah.
But what I've trained for up until now, I've gotten through it. Like, you know, 10 miles is when stuff really starts to actually like feel like it's like, and then the half marathons, I have 3 more miles. So it's like, you could do 3 more miles. But I think what'll happen is if you continue to build that training block, like I'm training towards that 50-mile thing now with some of the Ace guys, I'm assuming what'll happen is you build up a higher tolerance for this stuff. And instead of feeling that at 10 miles, maybe you feel it at 20 miles, at 30, you know? That's my thought. I don't know, but I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. No, I love the mindset. I just struggle because I'm like, dude, like I have a 4-year-old. I can't be getting hurt to the point that like I can't like walk up the stairs and you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I love the competitive spirit. I think my focus is just a little different. Like I don't really care about competing against, well, I say this, but I don't know. I don't really compare myself maybe to people. Like even when I'm in the gym, like I'm really just there to like push myself. But I mean, I was walking into the gym the other day and homeboy wanted to tell me, "Oh, you can't dunk a basketball." I'm like, "You sure about that, bro?" Like it like sparked something in me, and I literally, I mean, yes, I can still do it, but even after, I was like, damn, like the back of my knee, I was feeling something. And it actually inspired me to like get back just in the gym, like shooting around a little bit. I missed the game. But yeah, it's something that I think I want to explore with the running just to accomplish things. But I got to really figure out what the hell is going on with my body.
Yeah, I mean, I think the shoes is 100% a
Nike
factor.
Frees aren't cutting.
Nah, bro. Like that's not doing it. But like, you definitely should switch the shoes up and see how that feels. For me, I've never had running shoes until last year, and I was like, "Whoa, what the hell is this? This is like a new world." You feel like you're like on freaking pillows.
Wow.
So it makes a huge difference. But like, yeah, I was gonna say like that competitive like piece in you is still there.
Yeah.
I mean, the sauna story we heard a couple weeks back, like that shit is still there.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people, and I've been seeing your brother too. Like, he'll walk in the sauna now. He's like, "These guys are toast." So just giving context, anytime I walk in the sauna, I basically compete with the people that are in there. They have no idea that I'm competing with them. But even if they've been in there for like a long period of time, I just have to make sure that like I ask them now, like, "Yo, how long did you stay in here?" And they'll be like 22 minutes. I'm like, boom, no problem. I'm in here for 24. So I do it on the low. So that's one thing, but I'm very interested in the grief process, man, and losing your father a year ago from November, right?
Yeah.
That was something that we've discussed even on the this has been an evolution. So he was around for the first podcast that we ever did.
Yeah.
Right. Then he passed away right when we were basically starting Ace. Year hit in November, so you're past the year mark now. I have watched you lean into this experience. I don't think there's any words for anybody to say to console, but you have put a tremendous amount of work into reflection, which really, in my eyes, is a true form of leadership because it's very easy to be a leader when things are going really well. Losing somebody so close to you like your father, and then to double down, foot on gas, to just propel and accomplish so many different things in this past year. I mean, in business, you were a top 40 under 40. You're accomplishing all these physical things. And, I'm sure he would, and he is watching, but he'd be so proud of everything you're accomplishing. But a lot of people would fold, So how has the grief and the healing process transitioned for you over time?
So I definitely want to attribute like so much of my success along the grief journey, I guess, to Jackie, number one, my family, two, but also you, Nick, and Joe, and the ACE community, because it's been something that I've been able to take my pain, my suffering, my confusion, all that stuff, and lean it into a company and a community that actually resonates with it, and it kind of helps certain people, hear my process, but in return, I get so much back from it, and just the support I've gotten from, like I said, Jackie, my immediate family, and my three best friends, you, Joe, and Nick. Like, it's been monumental. And so, I just want to make sure I say that first. And I really, truly appreciate you, and just everything that's happened over the last year and a half has been difficult, but it's been a lot less difficult because of that support. So thank you. But it's been tough, man. Like I go through the waves still. The confusion is still there, but like my overarching answer, I guess, like how I've been able to carry on is it's God, it's faith. Like that has been always something in my life that's been a constant. And I feel as though my relationship with my dad has gotten stronger now, which is like sad because hindsight is always 20/20, right? Like you always say, "Oh yeah, if I did this, if I did that, our relationship would have been better." It's sad, but it's also beautiful because I'm able to continue to work on that. I had a really, really difficult week last week, and it's kind of trickled into this week as well, work-wise. Things at the restaurant have been super difficult. We're getting restaurant week just started, and we've got some crazy momentum in the press. We just had an article on Forbes yesterday. We had Westchester Magazine, News 12, all this stuff, like, was amazing stuff, but it kind of drove and plus a 75-degree day on Saturday, drove an enormous boom in the restaurant. And some of our systems kind of broke, and that falls on me ultimately, right? Like I'm the leader of the company there. That paired with just overwork, stress, all this stuff in the last week has kind of crippled me at some point early last week. And I got home one night after like a 16-hour day, and I don't know what it was. I think my brother sent a picture of like a Yankee game like thing. It was opening day the other day. And there was a picture of my dad and him and my brother, like when he's a cop and he works the platforms, and he used to work the Yankee games. So it was the last Yankee game my dad was at, like where my brother was working. And there's this thing that I do now, and I look at photos of my dad and I like zoom in on like different body parts of him. And it's the strangest thing. This probably sounds so weird to people, but I was like zooming in and like looking at his calf. And like it like reminded me of like something like when he was like cutting the grass in his shorts, and like it was just like this nostalgic thing. And that led me down a rabbit hole to start going through old photos of my dad when I got home, parked in my parking lot outside of where I live. And it ended up being an hour in my car of like complete sobbing, alone in my car, just like what I needed to do. I haven't had that in a long time. The next 2 days, I went and visited his gravesite, and I just spent, 30, 40 minutes there journaling, talking to him, praying, all that. And, I say that because I share that, I should say, because I think I do a good job at leading and moving forward. And I've moved mountains in my grief process in a year and a half, but I still struggle big time. And sometimes it hurts a lot more than others.
It's very powerful stuff, man. Very powerful. And as you were saying that, like zooming in on the body parts and stuff, I didn't really know where you're going. And then for you to just be so like, one thing I love about you is you're so open to the process of things. You're very explorative with things, and you're very open about it. And I think it's so helpful for people to hear who may be struggling with loss, whether that's a loss of a family member, a pet, a job, or anything. Each process is different, but you're hearing from somebody who I consider an expert when it comes to this. And a piece of it is about experience. A lot of people can't really relate because they just haven't gone through it yet. And that's like my key takeaway from you is like, wow, like, although I haven't lost somebody like that, like my two parents are still around, the sad reality is that it's going to happen, right? And hopefully it happens before I pass, right? Because then I'm thinking about Callie and stuff like that. But when you actually sit down and like process what Sean is saying, it really just brings perspective to the life that you're currently in. We were talking at dinner, and one of the themes, I believe last month, I had mentioned, we're currently living in the good old days. And I didn't want to say it because I never want to spark any like sadness in you. But everything in me when I was talking about that, I'm like, Sean wishes that his father was still here. He wishes that the good old days were right now. Because even when things are hard and maybe work is stressful and, your relationships maybe aren't the best, the reality is 20 years from right now, you're going to wish that that was a time frame you had. So I hope when people are listening to Sean speak, you're really reflecting, even if you haven't lost somebody, because the sad, unfortunate circumstance of life is that it will happen. So latching on to somebody like Sean who has that experience and just knowing that like there's no formula for success with it. But I will say this, I think, attributing it even back to the gym, like the weights don't get heavier, you just get stronger. And I think that's like an analogy for what it is that you're going through. You're just becoming more and more comfortable. But the reality is it still sucks. It has to suck.
Yeah, you could always drop that weight still,
Absolutely.
which is, I think, what happened last week for me. Have you thought about yourself, like when that moment happens of someone in your life passing and what that looks like? I know you've been through a loss with your dog that was super close with you, and you've been through different.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it.
Yeah.
I try not to visualize it too much because, I think the power of visualization is very real in my life, and I'm experiencing that more and more. The piece about my dog was worse because it was attached to a time frame where I lost a relationship as well with the divorce. So that made it, even 10 times more difficult. And everyone who has a pet understands like the love, I remember I had lost my grandfather, who is somebody that, he's a hero of mine. And, I get compared to him a lot, just even the personality, the bigger, bigger frame. And, when I lost him, it was one of the first times like I kind of like openly like cried, but I was not into like personal professional development at that time. I think he died like 8 years ago. So that was really the start of my journey. I think about it, and the reality is, and this is a bold statement, my life and my goals will still continue. I don't know what that feeling looks like in that moment, that call, but I do know that I've leaned on, what I refer to now as like habitual excellence. And even if I need to take a day, 2 days, a week off from it, I believe in my ability to bounce back. I truly do. And I could just be blowing smoke, and then if it happens, I don't know, I might, you'll never know. But these are the moments that I really prepare for in my life.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason like we do what we do with Ace is like we are preparing for these moments. And there's that John Wooden quote where it's like, when opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. You have to be able to have that in your deck of cards. You have to have that in your tool shed, your toolbox.
Are you looking to elevate your brand with captivating visuals and immersive sound? Look no further than the home of the No Snooze podcast, Kai Visions Productions, your go-to destination for cutting-edge audio and video production. At Kai Visions, we don't just create content, we create experiences that leave a lasting impact. From podcasts, YouTube variety shows, sleek corporate videos, to attention-grabbing promotional campaigns, our team of experts is dedicated to turning your vision into reality. Choose Kai Visions for a production experience like no other. It's time to make your brand known. Contact us today at kaivisions@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at Kai Visions. Kai Visions Productions, where audio-visual excellence meets innovation. Now, back to the Epi.
This might go a weird way here again, but question, like, what's your thought and feeling on death, your own death? Are you scared of death? Do you think about your own death? What does that look like for you?
I'm not scared of death. I get scared for my family and my daughter. Because I feel like it would be, and I get emotional thinking about me not being here because of such a little human being that relies on me to do certain things. And I would feel it's very unfair for me to leave this earth because of her, my wonderful partner and my family, you know what I mean? But for me, the Bible really helps that. Like I'm not scared of that. Like I talk to Callie very openly, and she's at the point now she asks questions. She called Chance Chi Boy, and she loved Chi Boy. She loved him. She was only 2 when he passed, but like she knows exactly who he is. We look at videos, and she remembers how big he was, and his ears, and she would pull his tail, and the videos of her in the walker and him, like just protecting her. And she asked, she's like, "He's in heaven, right? Is he ever coming back?" And I'm like, "No, he's not coming back." And she's like, "Oh my God, that's so sad." And she'll start crying. Like she gets really, really emotional. And I say, "Baby, heaven is magical." And then she started the conversation. "I want to go to heaven. Can I go to heaven?" And I said, "No, baby, you can't go to heaven." I said, "Because this earth needs you. But when our time comes, and hopefully it's when people are older, maybe if somebody is sick and old, I do attach it to that because I don't want her thinking that like young people are going, She's only 4. But I tell her it's a magical place, and you're basically with God. And again, this is my interpretation of this for her. And I said, the angels, and it's higher than the clouds, and we paint this whole picture. And she's like, "Well, is my family going to be in heaven with me?" And I said, "Not only your family, but you're going to see Chi Boy there. You're going to see everybody that was here on earth. You're going to get that experience again." And then she like comes around and she kind of like gets happy about it. So for me, I do, I'm not scared for myself. I'd be very scared to lose anybody close to me. But that's my visualization of death. I do believe that if you're not living correctly, that there will be sacrifice that has to be made. And I do think about a constant when I arrive at that place. I do think that you're going to be confronted by that higher power, and there's going to be a reel that looks back on your life, and it's like, okay, like this is what you should have been. This was my plan for you, and this is where you fell short. I get scared of that, of falling short, but that's why every day I'm very intentional about like how I live my life. Does that answer the question?
Completely.
What's your thought now?
No, I completely resonate with it, and it's something that like I think about often. I think about death even before like I had, you know, these close people dying in my life. 2018 was another really bad year for me where I had a lot of close people die, and you know, I've been through a lot of death, but I think my whole life I've always thought about my own death. And same as you, the reason I think about it really is because I want to make sure that I'm making impact today, you know, because God only knows when our time is up, when that, you know, that clock ticks, you know, it's always ticking. And I just want to make sure that when my time does come that I do live up to, you know, what I could have been. And Jackie always asks me like, are you scared of anything? Are you fearful? And I'm not scared of one damn thing except for not living up to my potential.
Coming up short.
That would be the worst thing that could ever happen. You know, I mean, how many lives can be impacted if we do what we're supposed to do? You know, how many people can change the course of other people's lives, the trajectory of their family, you know, their own influence in their career, their personal, everything. And through ACE, especially, we have the ability to do that. We set the platform and the stage for people to do that. And that trickles down, you know, and when we see those things happen in people's lives, for me, I'm like, damn, good work, boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been asked that question, to be honest. It's something I do think about frequently, but yeah, I mean, I've painted the whole picture, man. Like I do think that like when the soul leaves you, like it kind of like it's the and it like rises to the top, and like you're kind of looking back on yourself and you're like, damn, like maybe I was a little fatter than I thought. Like I have all these like funny thoughts, you know? So I really don't associate it, you know, in such a bad way. You know, and also like, you know, there was a couple experiences, man, like just even recently, like I've actually jumped into the fire of these things. Like there was, you know, I was listening to worship music. Katie and I came out of church, driving up to Taconic, and it was a snowy day. And I was in my leather jacket with a little mink collar, you know, my little boots. And I see this pickup truck, large pickup truck, not like a small one, a large one, like a Tundra, completely flipped upside down. And everyone's like driving by, and I like pull over. Katie's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I got to go check on him because nobody's here. I have been watching Grey's Anatomy, so I do feel that I'm a little bit more qualified than most. But the reality was I was very calm kind of walking over there. I would have ran, but I didn't want to slip because it was that icy. And people are just driving by with their phones, and like the dude was still in the car. And at that point, I was assuming that he was going to be dead or bruised, battered. And, you know, I'm like, yo, you good? You okay? And he was like, I'm okay. And I'm like, okay, we need to get you out of here. I can't open the door. And like calmly, I'm like, kick the window out. Right? Because I tried to bang it in, and I'm like, damn, I don't know if his head's right there. Like maybe I shouldn't kick it out. So he literally, boom. And I could tell that he was a large man. I'm like, oh, wow. Like, okay, he's a big boy. And I literally, there was 4 other people that are like, I'm like, guys, let's pull him out. I'm like, pull him out? What do you mean? You don't know? Pull him out of the car. It's upside down. What are we going to do? So we literally pulled this man out of the car. And thank God, I mean, he had, you know, bruises and stuff like that, but he was okay, right? But like, I didn't think he was okay in that moment. I kind of just jumped in. And I do feel like this calling on my life, not to save people, but to be in those types of situations and be somebody that can help and be of service.
Yeah, and I think there's certain people that, like you said, they see that, they drive by, they don't do anything, and there's people like you that take action and you do it. And why? Because if you drove right by that and an hour goes by and you get back up home and you're like, damn, what could have happened if I stopped there? And you would have beat yourself up about it. And you would have thought about that for days and days, you know, and God knows what would have happened. You have no idea. Maybe the car catches fire. Maybe, you know, maybe nobody stops. You have no idea. So, I mean, it speaks a lot about you and your values, but also just being willing to jump in and do stuff like that. I was thinking this morning, every workout in the morning, I always think about so much stuff. And a lot of the times I don't even listen to music. Sometimes I listen to a podcast, but I always write notes about what I'm thinking. I record videos, like I sent you the one after the dinner. And this morning, I was just thinking about my college. And I went to Springfield College in Massachusetts. And they had this thing that I thought was so corny when I was going there. It was don't walk on the grass and don't cut corners. That's what was like the overarching like theme, was like don't cut corners. And as a product of taking the sidewalk and following direction and whatever, you had grass that was beautiful and a campus that was like immaculate. It was always clean, pristine. The lines were nice. Like everything was good. And it was a result of building a culture of not crossing lines, not taking the easy route, doing things the right way. And again, I thought it was so corny at the time. And I was just thinking about it this morning for whatever reason. I was like, damn, like that's how we got to live our lives. Like, set the culture, set the standard, do things the right way. And as a byproduct, you'll bear some amazing fruit from that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just speaks to kind of what you were just saying of like the daily work that you do on yourself prepares you for these moments that someone is having a heart attack in your lobby and you crack the chest, as you said.
I don't think I told that story.
Another life-changing, life-saving experience that you had, but a lot of people wouldn't jump in. And I think it's just the standard that you live by.
Yeah. Just to give context on that, because I hate leaving people hanging on things like that. Like I'll be listening to a podcast, somebody will make a comment like that, and then I'm like, damn, tell the story, So I don't think I
can tell it as good as you.
Well, I mean, long story short, this lady was, she kind of fell out on the floor, and I hear like screaming from my office. And, I kind of just get my jacket and I put it on because it was a colder day, and I kind of walk outside. I'm like, what's going on? And I see this lady kind of, hunched over, holding her chest against a garbage. And mind you, at this time, this is a government facility, so like there were a lot of people kind of coming in and out, and a lot of chaos. And people were like, she's having a heart attack. She's having a heart attack. I'm like, okay, well, I need to pick her up and bring her into a space to, at least get her safe. Can't just let her have the heart attack. So I literally like pick this woman up and I bring her into an office, and it's crazy because you can see the video. I have security cameras in the office. So like I'm literally carrying her and she's like convulsing at this time. And I'm telling her, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And she's like kind of screaming, gasping for air, kind of take her jacket off. And I don't know, it was a Grey's Anatomy thing, I guess, but they say crack the chest. So I literally, kind of pumped her chest a little bit, and it opened up an airway. It opened up an airway in a way that like, she was able to do that, like a big deep breath, and then catch her breath until the paramedics came. Because by that time, while I was walking through, I said, look, guys, like, let me in there, call the paramedics, like, let's get real professionals here. And then she actually came back and she thanked me, man. But long story short, she found out in that moment that her mother died. Mm. And she was then having a panic attack that she gets frequently, but that panic attack was actually the beginning stages of a heart attack where her heart was actually like closing or expanding, whichever one. So we were just a safe space for her. But yeah, like no kudos to me or anything. I'm happy to be there. I'm just thankful to God that he put me in that situation to be able to get her off of the floor and kind of into the office. Like what good is it if I'm big dude that like can't even help a woman that's having a little heart attack,
I gotta start watching some Grays.
Yo, bro, it'll change your life. I think one thing that we do really well, and I wanted to make sure that we talk about it, because I think it's something that gets missed a lot, is I think we celebrate one another's successes and wins really well. Because I see a lot of relationships, and I was talking to an individual that like was feeling a little like jealous of another like business partner of his. And I was like, wow, like, and this is what sparked it. I was like, I cannot relate. And I think there's a strong message because, when people are like ahead of you, I do think that the truth is that you can be happy for that person. And I take it to a deeper meaning because when you show God or that higher power that you're actually happy for that person in that moment, I think the blessing will come back to you because it's almost showing that you're prepared to take on a little bit more in your life, right? And I think like whether it's the new job, new house, or new opportunity that somebody's getting, it's the norm for people to be like envious. And at times I'm like, damn, I wish I got that opportunity, but not in a way that like ever hinders it. And I think you do it really well too. But, I think celebrating other people's wins just as if they're your own is something that's not really discussed and honored, but it's something that immediately when I was having that conversation, I thought about you, Sean.
Yeah. Well, I look at it as like, I'm in the right crowd. I'm in the right circle, like when Nick texts us the other day and he's like, yo, I just landed another huge client that's blah, blah, blah. Like, can't get into the details of that stuff, but like, that's like, let's go. Like, that's my boy. Like, it's amazing. When you tell me you landed Churnhouse Podcast, Santucci, it's like, let's freaking go. Like, that's elevation for everyone, and it's like, I think there is a competition side to it. Like, like you were talking about, like the envy or whatever, like maybe that's like a small thing that like some of us have, but it's like, it helps us get better. And, we want each other to win. When Joe got his new job and he changed his life, he's so much happier now. He's making so much more money. His life at home is better. Like, that's amazing. That's a win for us all, because he's better to be around. He's a better person to have in our circle, So, like, those things, I wasn't always that way for sure. Like, I think when I was in college especially, like, I was that jealous, envy person, and
Why? Why do you think that is?
insecurity. I think it all comes down to like insecurity. Jackie told me a story this morning, and like, I can't get into details with this either, but like, something happened where one of her friends wanted something. I'm trying to not give up details. One of her friends wanted something and someone else got it.
Okay.
And now that someone is super pissed.
Okay. I can see that being a thing. But yeah, that's like the common thing.
Yes.
But I do think as I'm relating this to my life, I felt that way too. Very envious and like always, what about me? What about me? And the reality was, Dave, you weren't ready for this.
Yeah.
You were not ready. If your focus is jealous and envy and negativity, you're not ready for the positivity, for the promotion. I think you have to be able to build up a set of skills in your own life that will then prepare you for promotion.
Preparation precedes promotion. That was it, right?
Yes, sir.
I remember
yes,
that, right?
sir. But it's very true. Like, and I think that's in every aspect, right? The first part of preparation is like being prepared for the moment. So proper preparation prevents poor performance. The 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. What? Piss poor performance? What? No. And your microphone wasn't on, so now I'm talking to myself. Thanks. No, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So I think that's the first step of preparation, right? But then there's the piece where like you have the habitual excellence, you're doing the thing, and now you're ready to go. You feel prepared for the promotion, but really that higher power is telling you, sit back, hone in on the skill. Again, this is Dave's interpretation of it. I want to be clear. Sit back, hone in on the skill, so then that way, when that opportunity does come, now you're not only prepared for that promotion, but you're going to blow it out of the water. That's how I interpret it.
And I look at that, I think that little like window, that tiny window of like where people are like, I deserve this now, and I'm not getting it, is when most people quit. And if you just hang in a little bit longer, you might be able to get that thing that you want. You might have to wait another week, another month, another year, and continue to work and prepare towards that goal. But you will never get it if you just tap out, say, yo, I'm good. I'm done here. I didn't get it in this time, and that's it. You're never going to see it, So I think if you're willing to withstand the storm and, withhold those toxic and negative emotions, you might be able to see that next level elevate and rise up,
I was actually reading something from your favorite uncle, Uncle John, Uncle Johnny Max.
That's the John.
Sean's boy. But he was talking about, how important it is in leadership to lead from passion, not position. Talk to me about that thought a little bit and how kind of we lead ACE or your own businesses, because I think it's a very important thing.
I got a text the other day, and it was from this girl who sets up like events at the restaurant, and she was like, hey, like, what time can I get in there? I'm setting up something for the bridal shower that we had on Saturday. And I was like, oh, like, let me check with my team. Like, I'm going to blah, 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 whatever. And she goes, wow, I love how you just said, let me check with my team and not my staff. And I was like, yeah, that's a super important word to use. Like, that's my team. Like, we're colleagues. I'm not better than you. I'm not, just because I'm one of the owners, like I'm the manager, whatever your position is, it doesn't matter. Like, it's we're all on the same damn team here. And if all of us don't play our roles, we're not going to succeed. So why would I ever try to put someone down and say, oh, my staff? And, you know, that's like, in my eyes, it's like a condescending thing, you know? So speaking about like team and all that, like it matters the words that you speak in your business. It matters the way you act, you know? Like if you're one of those guys in leadership that lets your authority, you know, kind of do the speaking for itself, you're never going to have connection. You're never going to have serious wins and build longevity. You know, so I don't know, man. I think I've failed at that a lot as a young leader. I grew so much. I mean, I spoke about this, I think, on one of the podcasts we did. Like when I was 22 years old, I stepped into a management role, and I had people that were like 50 years old that have been working at this company for 20, 30 years. And I step in and I'm your boss now. How do I, as that young leader, build respect, gain trust? I thought I had to be the vocal guy. I was the beefed up. I was like 235 at the time, like coming off college. I was like the macho man. I'm like, all right, let me be that authority figure. What happened in return was I drove people away, and I did not connect with them. I did not build a strong culture. I did not build wins. We were failing. When I shifted that mindset and said, all right, let me get to know this guy. Let me figure out, does he have kids? Does he have a wife? What does he do for fun? You know, building that relationship first outside of the whole work thing is like, all right, now I'm building trust. Now I'm building some credibility here to where they're going to want to perform well for me. When, you know, that's what you look at it, but it's really with me.
So a strong, confident mindset to have and to hone. Every staff meeting that I have, right, I always tell my team right from the jump, I'm like, reminder, and I hope they never take me up on this, but the reality is they think that they need me. They think. And I'm like, but if all 25 of you did not show up today, who's screwed?
Yep.
Me. And I think anybody in any leadership role, if you start to really believe that about your job or whatever career path you're in, the truth is you're nothing without your team, right? Like ACE doesn't exist. Yeah, cool. We came up with the concept, the idea. Awesome. Founders, great. You like the title? Me too. Cool. But it really means nothing, because the reality is you could start an LLC and be a founder president tomorrow, but without a solid community or team behind you and that passion that drives that, it really means nothing. And I think, you know, you do that extremely well. Even when like ACE guys come in for the very first time, you know, Sean's always one that's reaching out to, you know, maybe somebody else who you already know to get that person's phone number, to connect and to contact. And I think you put a lot of intention into that side of leadership where, you know, a lot of people don't, because you get lost, and I'm guilty of this too. Get lost in all the other things that need to be happening. And the reality is like, wow, okay, great. Somebody just joined ACE for the first time, but how much more impact can we provide to that person by having a founder like Sean Degnan actually reach out? Hey man, thank you so much for coming. I actually reached out to a gentleman that came for the first time last dinner. The first thing he said to me, he said, wow, I am so humbled. Sean reached out to me last night, and now you're reaching out to me.
It's awesome.
And it was just a real, like, we didn't even speak about it, you know, but,
Yeah, I don't
but
even know who this is.
no, it was just, it was a beautiful thing to see, because it was just on our hearts at the same time. And I think we hold that passion and community, you know, before any sort of title.
Yeah. Why do you think that the ACE community does that so well? I mean, obviously we try very hard to be intentional about that stuff, but I've seen a complete transformation in the community in itself in the last year. Like, we had awesome momentum last year, and we had, you know, great events and whatever, but like, I don't think we really saw a difference the way we saw this year specifically. The first 3 sold out dinners. The dinners is kind of what I'm honing in on. It's different. This year is different. Like the energy, I just got chills as I said it. Like the energy in the room is different. And people are really growing. People are really diving into those nasty thoughts they have. People are really working on themselves. People want to help each other. It's just, I don't know, man. People are more willing to put themselves out there and also lend a hand as well. Why do you think that? Do you feel that there's a difference this year as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think just like everybody who started with us, it was almost like we were figuring it out, right? Like, what does bridging the gap between masculinity and vulnerability really mean? Like, are we just going to be men that come and cry together? Like, a lot of people process it like that, right? And I think they've seen such impact in their lives because when you look at the OGs who have been with us from day one, they see the proof in the pudding. So they not only now know the way, but they're also going the way, right? And now they have an opportunity to now show the way. And that's something that I've been thinking about as well. So it's funny you say that. But I think we have proof of concept. I think, when guys come in and they have strong testimonials that we don't ask for, that to me, I think is the biggest takeaway for now my evaluation of other companies and organizations that I ever get involved in. I'm going to listen to how people talk about that organization. And I'm not saying that what Sean and Dave does is like fire all the time, because I'm sure we suck at times. But the reality is, in those introductions, when we give men opportunities to speak, they are speaking from a grateful place. They're extremely grateful for the opportunity to be in front of these guys. They're extremely grateful that their life has gone from maybe not being employed or just employed as a regular team member to now taking on a leadership role, to being in a really shitty relationship to now getting engaged because the relationship is flourishing. I think there was enough time in a year that the people who stuck with it, they set goals and then they rallied with a community behind them to not only get to that goal, but also exceed the goals. And now when new guys come in, it's like, yo, you got to buy into this because you can do this in your life. And I think the awesome thing about Ace 2 is like we set the stage, but everyone's a leader.
Yeah.
Everyone steps up and their testimony becomes powerful, And I would say that's the difference, because in the beginning, it was more about like Dave and Sean kind of leading the way. Now, honestly, we can show up to dinner and not say a word. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And there was a guy that came, I think, who you're speaking about that you reached out to, if I remember this correctly, is who I'm thinking of who I reached out to. That guy went up for the first time. He was a new guy and shared some really, really brutal stuff that just happened to him. But what he had said, and it was the most unbelievable thing that I could have heard from him, was I'm going through this stuff and I heard this is the place I need to be. And I was like, God damn, you are so right. Because this is the freaking room you need to be in, and we will help you and you will help us, and that was like the highest form of a compliment that I think we could ever receive. He's in one of the darkest points in his life, and he heard that he needs to be here. Damn, that's a W.
So you're spot on. And to just give context, this individual lost a son.
Yeah.
I mean, the darkest thought that you can possibly think of actually happened. And to think that you and I have set a stage to where people even think we're qualified, to speak on this stuff and to help men get through their struggles, whether it's addiction is a huge thing in ACE, right? Like a lot of people, we come clean about our addictions and, the overcoming of it and just putting it out there. So it's invaluable, I think. For individuals that really are struggling in any aspect of their life. But it's hard. I do see that it's hard for people to step into that room for the very first time. I think now we're getting momentum enough to where you do get those stories of like, oh, wow, I heard I need to be here, which is great. But it gives even more kudos to the OGs who like just kind of stepped into this, right? I think about like Sean O'Connor all the time. I mean, the poster boy for Ace.
He is the Ace OG.
He is the Ace OG. And what's crazy is he had shared with me, he's like, yo, one of my dreams, and I'm sure he shared it with you too, maybe he said it in the same conversation. He's like, the VBDs changed his life, vulnerability breakthrough developments, right? That's a portion of like our summit style that's really a gold of what we do. But he's also a mental health counselor, right? Yonkers Police Department, great job. He's more qualified than anybody to speak in this. And he's like, I'm looking forward to leading that opportunity. It's beautiful to watch men come together. And I love that certain people are out there thinking like, oh, this is corny. Like, okay,
Yeah.
No problem.
Come step in the room. I
Come
dare
into
you.
the room.
We will pick you apart, man, and break your ass down, and you will be humbled, because I'm humbled all the time by it. Even in the last dinner, like, I got humbled. You know, some of those discussions that we had. But you know, there was something that I talked about. I think not last one, the one before, but it was like standards and expectations, and I'm just keep thinking about this year is like my standards in life, you know, and we have created a standard at Ace to where if you come in and you just try to dip your toe in, you're going to fail. You're not going to be able to, you know, succeed. And we've set the standard of like, you need to come in, check your mother effing ego at the door, because we don't have those here. Check them at the door and open your damn heart, because that's what we do here. And we work on ourselves. And if you're not willing to do that, come back when you're willing to do that. Because we don't do that. We don't do the half-ass shit.
I'm thinking of that, and I'm receiving it all because it's so true. And honestly, there's guys that come for the first time and just, you know, they've left their ego at the door, but then they just want to listen, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
You know, that's not what we're talking about. So if you're just not prepared to like come and speak on your vulnerabilities, I think that piece is okay. But also just being able to open your heart and receive.
Yeah.
Very powerful stuff, man. Shout out to Yorktown Jewelers, the best in the game, serving Westchester for over 16 years. This family-owned business is built on a foundation of respect and honesty. Run by a father and son team, Myron and Mike, both men are rooted in strong morals and integrity, making them a trusted name in the community. Whether you're looking for timeless pieces or something unique, Yorktown Jewelers offers exceptional quality, a wide selection, and unbeatable pricing. When you shop here, you're not just getting great value. You're supporting a business that truly cares about its customers. For all your jewelry needs, head to Yorktown Jewelers, where trust, craftsmanship, and service shine bright. A good thing. Now, I won't do that every time. Absolutely not. I think there's a time and a place. But I think prioritizing what matters most at the time is very important.
I had a thing, I told you last week was a really rough week for me, and there was a couple of moments where I caught myself like feeling sorry for myself, and these things happen, you know, when you're overworked, you're not mentally as sharp, your emotions are kind of all over the place, like you're gonna have those moments of doubt, you're gonna have those moments of like just negative thoughts creep in, and I had it a few times, and I was talking to Jackie about it, and I was like, I don't think you fully understand, like every morning I wake up and I choose to be positive. This is a choice, because the default for so many people is to be negative, to complain. I have to go to work. I have to do this. I have to do that. Nah, like I chose this path, and every day I choose to be positive, and I choose to want to impact other people and to get better in my life. But as a result of that, at times you break down, and at times, you know, that choice isn't always as clear, you know? So for you, you've been on this personal one-on-one coaching journey for a while now. Like you've been growing this thing. I'm super proud of you, and I think it's actually helped you a lot in ACE, just the way you're communicating with people, because you're getting a more in-depth look at people's journeys. What have you seen along this journey of one-on-one coaching that has been the most impactful thing for people, you know, that are looking to make a change in their life? That's different than ACE.
Yeah. Good question. I would say it's a common theme that I'm seeing is what you're not changing is what you're choosing.
Boom. That's a mic drop.
Right? When you does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
That was like a bar. That just like hit me.
So is that clear, CV? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes I have these sayings and I don't think it's clear. Like I'll listen back. So I do want to ask if that was clear.
Yeah.
Right. So and I'll expand on that. But the thing that you're struggling with in your life, and the thing that I see that men are struggling with, by not changing that thing, you're actually choosing to remain right there. So you're complaining about the thing that I believe that you're choosing. So the importance there is to make the change, to choose the change, because if not, the thing that you're struggling with is going to be the thing that you ultimately choose. And that's been the thing, because guys come to me and they're like, hey, my relationship is messed up. My finances are messed up. I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to get closer to God. It could be a small goal or it could be a large goal. And we have to constantly break through that thought process and barrier. And what I see is we put these actions in place and that doubt still is there. And they're realizing, they're like, wait a minute, the doubt doesn't go away. You just get better at the actions that you take to no longer choose the life that you don't want, right? So that would be the thing that I see the most and actually creates the most impact, because I have a tagline now, and you do the same thing, right? I just happen to turn it into words. But you and I both, we take potential and we turn that into personal excellence, right? And getting somebody to believe in themselves is the most gratifying shit for me in the world. Like, put me on any stage, like I'll be hyped, I'll put on a nice outfit, and like you might think on Instagram, oh, he's just being flashy, this, that. I like that side of things. I like when my fade is nice and I like all that. But if I get to connect with one person that I actually impacted and they're telling me what now they've been able to take action on in their life, or the coaching client that lost the 30 pounds and now is going for the 50-pound goal, or the guy that was in $200,000 worth of debt and is now, making an investment with his own money, like that's the type of shit that really impacts me. Taking people's just, their everyday thoughts and putting it to like practical things that will change their lives.
And ultimately, I think if you do continue to work on that, it's almost less of a choice every day. Like working out every day is not much of a choice. I'm doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless I'm really hurting or I have like something that's like major that's coming up, it's not much of a choice. It's my life now, and that's something that I was receiving as you were saying that.
I think the big problem too, and I have reality checks, with my clients. I think a common thing is that dudes, we just have shitty standards. We've just grown up around, like things that we think are normal, and it's very mediocre. Like you taking your girl out once a week should be the standard. You don't get an award for that. Me cooking for Katie, sometimes I want to complain about it, but the reality is I am blessed. I am blessed to cook for that woman. You know how many dudes would want to cook for that woman? But you know how many dudes would also ruin the opportunity? You know how many dudes, I'm with her because of how many dudes ruin the opportunities? I can't be that guy. I can't. And for my daughter, same type of thing. You know what a blessing it is to be able to have my daughter want me to be sitting on the toilet while she takes a bath? Because that's a very temporary time frame of my life. And now constantly I'm on the phone sending an email on the couch, and she's like, Daddy, can you sit with me? And I'm like, I have to recenter myself, because I'm like, wow, this is so important right now. But our standards are just so low. Whereas that should be the standard, Dave. You bathe your daughter and you sit with her for the 15 minutes that she's in there.
But I think there's people that don't see that perspective. Most people don't see that perspective. Let me be clear about that. But people like us are able to stop in a moment and say, hold up. Let me transition the way I'm looking at this. Let me look at this from a different lens. And that's the gold. Being able to pause yourself in a moment, in a situation, a dilemma, whatever it is that you're in, and say, no. Let me shift here. Okay, baby, I'm coming in. Love you. I'm here. Now I'm here. Phone's gone or whatever the case is. That's the gold, I think, for people when they're looking to change their life.
Bingo. And how do you do that? Repetition and practice.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's the hardest thing.
The hardest thing for sure. But we had a gentleman that came and opened up about his anger issues in ACE, right? So I gave him a practical thing that I used to do. When I'm angry and I'm flipping out, I put the timer on, right? I put the timer on. Then I stop the timer when I release that rage. Now, the next time that I get upset, I know that the last time I got upset just lasted me 15 minutes and 37 seconds. My goal is to now get under that, right? And to eventually take something so tangible and measure it. And this is a very high-level individual that I didn't even know was struggling with anger. I gave him that practical guidance and that practical thing. He was like, yo, this just changed my entire life. How many people, though, to your point, in that moment of being upset and about to flip out before you punch the wall are willing to open your phone and hit start?
Oh, not many.
But if you measure that and you practice that, how are you not going to get better?
Yep. But that's something that I think that people also need to understand is like what you're not measuring, what you're not evaluating is not going to get better. You have to constantly be checking in on yourself. How did I score today? You know, how did I score last week? How am I doing in my relationship? You know, and I look at this all the time of like, I think I fail often because of just where I'm at this point in my life of building and growing my businesses. I think I fail at home a lot. And I'm very open with Jackie of like, this is a temporary period. You know, I do not want this lifestyle forever, but I'm willing to sacrifice this. And if you're willing to go on that journey with me, then let's look at it like this for a temporary time. Everything's temporary. And if we want to build a life together and a future together that other people don't have, then we need to do these certain things. But I evaluate myself all the time and I'm like, God damn, man, now's the time I need to go write her a note. Now's the time I need to go get her flowers, take her to dinner, you know, whatever it is, have that nice little message, that phone call that maybe I don't always do. And when I'm failing, that's when I decide to take action on some of those things. But if you're not evaluating and measuring, you're not going to know that you're failing all the time.
Alcohol. Not that we're counting, but a year and 91 days sober today, my brother. 1 year. Cheers with the agua. 1 year and 91 days, man. What started as a 30-day, like, just challenge, dry January for Sean and I has now turned into a year and 91 days. How you feeling?
I feel great, dude. We're planning my bachelor party, and people are
It's gonna
like,
be nothing like it.
people are like, you're not drinking, and I'm like, nope. Like, I thought you were just doing this for a year or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to drink. I don't know. I feel so good, man. Like, I really do. And I have seen so many shifts in my life, I think, happen and transform. And, you know, we were speaking about grief earlier, and like my grief journey, God, man, it would have been real rough if I continued to lay into the booze, you know. And I stopped drinking right after my dad died. I drank, I think, twice after my dad died, in November and then December. And I haven't drank since.
Yeah.
You know, so it's helped me tremendously, like physically, obviously. But I think the byproduct that I didn't expect was all of these other things and other areas of my life flourishing because of it. And I do attribute it to being sober and to, you know, leaning into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I don't think any of us are telling you, like, stop drinking. As long as you're in control of that, I think, you know, you do what's best for you. I just know for us, it happens to work. Can I say I'll never have a drink again? I'm still not. That's not my focus, you know, by any means. But I know for right now, what I'm trying to build, there's no alignment with that. Even the casual one, I don't see anything wrong with it, but it's just not for me right now. So yeah, I was just curious on that. But it's amazing, man, how quick a year and 90 days go. Like, that's.
How do you feel?
That's crazy. I feel great, man. I feel on fire. I think the first like 90 days, I thought I was feeling good, but I didn't even really tap in, I would say, until like day 100, 120, and now we're over 400 days, which is unbelievable.
It's wild.
But like the 30 days for me and my lifestyle wasn't enough. I didn't get any benefit from it. Like, probably was good to just clean out, I guess. But I think the brain is a little bit different. And I heard something on Huberman's podcast that depending on the individual, it takes between 2 and 6 or 7 months to actually have your brain bounce back from no alcohol. 0, not like 1, 2, here, 3, you know what I mean? So I think I was definitely like more on that 6-7 month.
Oh, we definitely were, man.
Absolutely. My brain was a little messed up. But I will say this, man, like, I still get negative thoughts and all that type of stuff. So I don't think alcohol like negates, you know, any of that stuff. But I think it's just it's a powerful thing to just have under your belt. It's a count that just keeps going and growing, and it's a good thing to measure along the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think this also speaks to what I was saying before of just like sometimes people tap out too early. You know, we could have tapped out at 3 months, 6 months, and we may not have seen, you know, the growth that we've had month 7, 8, 9, 12, 14, you know? So, yeah, being able to hang in there and really reap the benefits is something that I've seen tremendously, just through this journey.
Ace Impact so far, man. We'll close out with this pretty much all sold out events so far. Can you describe the energy in the room? You had sent a video the other day, which was great that you took it. I wrote back to you like, yo, we're going to play this in the documentary one day, because it was basically you coming off of the high of being in the room. Whereas, like, unless you're in there, you can't really describe it. So talk to me about how you feel about doing these events.
So I'm at the point where I think our standard is we expect and we will sell out all events. That's where we're at now. We're not settling for less than that. So I think our standard has raised this year. But yeah, so I do this thing, and I know you do it often too, of like where you either write something down or you take a video or you audio, whatever it is, when you're feeling something, right? So we left the dinner the other night, and I felt like I was on drugs. Like I was like on cloud nine. I was like, damn, like this is really impacting me. And I see how much impact it's had on the community. And that night specifically, I think that was the best breakout group I've ever been in. And not because like we were like just moving mountains and whatever, but like the conversation was just like so raw, authentic, vulnerable. Like everyone was so transparent. No one was offended by anything. Like it was just a group of guys that was able to block, just break walls down and just like be open with each other. So I left that dinner and I was reflecting on it. And I do so much reflection, because I feel like in order to grow and move forward, you have to understand what has happened. And I was reflecting on that, and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, wow, there's so many people that don't attend these dinners. There's so many people that don't attend any of these events. And I want everyone to experience it, not because it's the Dave and Sean show, not because it's the ACE community, the whatever. It's because it's really so beautiful what happens. It's like I said it, like in the video that I sent you, I'm like, it's like magic. Like the energy in the room is freaking electric. Like it's electric. And you can't experience that from watching an Instagram reel, from watching a clip online, from watching a promotion that we post, any of these little things. Even on us talking on right now as I'm speaking this, you're going to probably be a little more inclined to understand what the hell I'm saying, but you're not going to understand it until you're actually sitting in that room. And why is that? Because doing something like that, coming to the ACE dinner, is scary, especially if you don't know anybody, which we get all the time. Every event, we get 5 to 10 new people. It's unbelievable. How do these guys find us? How do they find the community? I have no idea. It just keeps growing. But you walk into that room and naturally you're a little tightened up. You're walking in, especially a lot of these guys are super fit. I mean, there's like 12 guys that can like kick our head off because they're like black belts. It's
Everybody was in Muay Thai last time, right?
It's freaking insane, dude. Like I'm out here like looking up jujitsu gyms. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Start.
But it's intimidating, right? And so the breakthroughs and the transitions that happen, in these dinners is because it's a result of being brave and courageous. And this is something that I want to work on for the next dinner, is bravery and courage. That's something that I've been thinking about a lot about, is just like, what is bravery? What is courage? It's like doing something without knowing the result of what's going to happen. And it's doing something in spite of that fear. Fear is always going to be there, but you have to do it even though you still feel that fear. And so when people are coming into that room and they have that fear and they do it anyways, that's when they walk out and they're like, oh, wow, that felt really good. And they actually help so many other people by being brave.
Well explained. CV, throw your mic on real quick. You have it on there? And I want to throw you on the spot, whether it's good or bad. As somebody who's not like the personal development guru, right? Having CV step into the room, I'm curious, like even his takeaway and how the experience is. And is what Sean's saying, is he blowing smoke, or is it reality in terms of like what you're feeling in that room? The camera on you, that's right. No. No.
So to answer the question, weird being on this side. To answer the question, it's so I hate it. I hate it, like the anticipation, the nerves
Of leading up to getting up there.
of just getting into like the portion that you speak, right?
Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing to do. Networking events in general are not my favorite. They've never been my favorite thing to do. Having said all that, as to how much I don't like doing it and how much I hate it, it is something that once I get up and I speak, once I get up and get to that place and kind of get involved with everyone that's there, not only do I feel relief, but I feel empowered. I do feel super empowered. I feel 10 times better about myself after having done that stuff than I did leading into it. And it's something that, I don't know, I've chosen to start embracing the working on myself to like enjoy networking and getting up to speak like that and doing those kind of little things. So it's not my favorite, but I found a place where I'm probably the most comfortable there doing it. So all in all, I think it's amazing. I think it's fantastic. I see the stories and how people speak and the things that they talk about them, and that in itself it does humble you and it does put a lot of things in perspective, which is super, super helpful, just in general as perspective for life, you know. But yeah, leading into it, not my favorite thing. The last dinner, I showed up almost an hour late, and in my head, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm gonna miss.
Speeches are over.
It's gonna be
Nah.
over. Nope. I arrived, and it was like you guys were in the beginning. I'm like, what? How much later do I have to arrive to not get to talk? But no, I think they're great. It's really good stuff. But that's been like the journey for me, trying to get comfortable in that space, which is not a comfortable space.
And I've seen so much growth in you over the year and a half that we've done this. Is like this time around, I think I said this to you actually. I was like, that's the best I've heard you speak. Like you were so clear, so concise, that message hit, like it was you, you know? And do you feel that after like doing some more reps of it?
I'm not gonna lie, it feels a little bit of a blackout in the moment. And then I have to kind of remember like what was said once the cold sweats kind of disappear and I kind of level out. But I do feel that it is getting a little bit easier, a little bit more comfortable in that space. Where I remember in the very beginning, I'm like, oh, don't even look my direction. If this dude looks at me, I need to like bang a quick right and disappear to the bathroom. Where now it's like I know it's coming and it's like I just got to jump in. It's really what it comes down to.
2025 CV, the big keynote.
So we won't lie here. We'll be very transparent. In walks Mary Bell,
Shouts to Mary Bell.
a fellow Kai Vision production podcast. Great to see you, Mary. So we're actually we're live now as well. I walked upstairs to take a bathroom and there she is.
There she goes.
But no, so thank you for jumping in, CV. And guys, just to wrap this up, we have Ace Summit 3
Ooh, baby.
in the works. So we can't get give too much away right now. But I may say that it's looking like the first weekend of October.
Yeah, that's what we're looking like.
Right.
Fall Summit is coming, baby.
So if you are looking to not only join Ace, but join Ace at its finest in terms of the summit, this is a great opportunity for you to branch out, to do something a little bit different. It's a 3-day experience. This will be our third one. We'll probably be between 30 and 35 guys, so it's still intimate. We're going to change the setting and the location, but this is exciting, and I think this will be the first time that we're actually dropping something, and we'll attach we could throw up a link for
Yeah, we'll
guys
throw
who
a
wanna-
link up. We're going to offer a super cheap entry point price because it's an expensive experience, but it's one that's worth it. I mean, we had people come to these summits and they're like, I'd pay 10, 20 grand to come to this thing. Legit. Like we're not blowing any smoke. People have totally said that. So we're going to drop a $300 deposit price. So if you guys are looking to lock in and you want to work on a payment plan, we're going to give you the opportunity to do that. So $300, you can lock in now. Once this episode drops, we'll probably have a link up actually prior to this. But yeah, $300 to lock in for a life-changing weekend up in Windham Mountain.
Yeah. And if the personal standards conversation hit for you, this is where you need to be.
Yeah, this is like the deluxe version. Like this ain't the basic car wash. Like we're at you're getting the tires like shine. You're getting everything detailed. Like this is the premium premier experience of Ace. So if you come to these monthly events and you're someone that has been curious if you're even able to keep up at the summit, we had a guy that wasn't able to walk a couple months before he got to the summit, and he actually came to us on day 2. And was like, yo, guys, I'm thinking about tapping out. And we're like, yo, my man, just hang in, stay in. And just like we were talking about a few times at this podcast, like there's those points in life where you have those doubts creep in and you want to tap out and you might not see the fruit come because you tapped out too early. Hang in there. You guys are able and willing to do it. So lock in $300, Ace Summit, fall 2025.
Beautiful. Anything else you wanted to touch on before we end today's episode, my brother?
No, all good, man. Like I appreciate you, Claudio, being back in the booth. I'm curious. Am I the most repeat guest on the No Snooze podcast?
Absolutely.
Let's
Absolutely. This
go.
is time 4, I think. 3 or 4.
Yo, I'm winning, baby.
You're one of one, my brother.
I love you guys.
Love you.
Appreciate
And honestly, man, I can't say enough, you know, the respect I have for you as a man, the way that you live your life is a beautiful thing to witness and to utilize your words. I'm excited to grow alongside you in this journey. I have a thing with telling men that I'm proud of them. I don't like being their fathers by any means. So yeah, growing alongside you is something that I'm extremely committed to, man. And you've done a lot for me in my life, and I can't say enough about you. And you know, whether it's a local business out there, a leadership team, a keynote, Sean Degnan is the guy. So definitely reach out to Sean. Sean, if you could let everybody know where they can connect with you, that'd be great.
Yeah, you could find me on Instagram, Sean.Degnan. I'm at the Sail House Restaurant in Tarrytown. I've got all-in-one commercial cleaning company, which is all throughout the tri-state, and Ace Sanctuary, Action Cultivates Excellence, where I am building dreams alongside my brother, Dave Regina here.
Let's get it, baby. Guys, whether you listen to one episode or 218 with my brother, Sean Degnan, we're extremely grateful for you. 2024 was a breakout year for the No Snooze podcast, a top 10% podcast on Spotify. An incredible feat because of you guys, the listeners, and also because of the one and only Claudio the Voice Valenzuela behind the scenes. As always, if you guys are looking to start your own journey or get into podcasting or content creation, he's your one-stop shop. All right. And
this booth is filling up, man. Find your slots because CV's, he's got these seats filled.
Yeah, he's kicking me out of my own time frame. It's crazy. He's having people walk in mid-episode. Unbelievable. Shout out to Mary Bell once again, but you didn't show up with any crumb cake, Mary. There she is, baby. So, guys, you can shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com. And until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it.
Oh, wow. I forgot.
Get up and get after it.
Let's get it, baby.
Thank you guys for tuning in. That's another Epi in the books. You can follow us on Instagram at No Snooze Podcast and leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze. Shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com. Come on.